All right, welcome back. Fox Sports salutes Veterans Day. Speak for yourself. Presented by Hyundai. Whitlock and Wiley, LeVar Arrington, and Eric Mangini are back. Let's move to college football.
Yes. All right.
Where a surprising name just popped up in the Florida State search for a new head coach, with our own Jay Glazer confirming other reports that Hall of Famer Deion Sanders has emerged as a candidate to replace the recently fired Willie Taggart. There's no doubt that Prime Time is one of the greatest players in FSU history. He has no real coaching experience to speak of. All right, the question is, think Deion Sanders could succeed at Florida State?
Oh, absolutely. Not just FSU history, football history. I mean, Deion Sanders. Let's put our...
You think he could succeed as a head coach?
Yeah, CEO head coach, which is a little different, and I'm not certain of the details of Herm Edwards, but I was there in the beginning. And Herm Edwards, who has former coaching experience, obviously, which is a great separation between him and Deion, but in a position where you hire a tremendous staff, as Herm has done, at a 5-3 Arizona State situation and team that's turned itself around, and then you employ them, but then you become that brand. Imagine 18-year-old mindset Jason Whitlock sitting there getting recruiting letters, and then someone rings the doorbell, probably knocks because y'all were broke. They had no doorbell.
That's true.
Hey, that's true. Jason in there? It's prime time. Huh? How many pens can you give me to sign right now? Like, just go ink it out. And I tell you why. The relatability, the ability to cut through, and the ability to talk it and walk it. When you have a coach like that, if he employs the proper people that can dive deeper into the X's and O's, which I know Deion knows, but can he translate that and convey that and also delegate that is the conversation. But in terms of inspiring a fan base and inspiring prospects, hell yeah, Deion could work.
I don't think the comparison to Herm is fair at all. Herm worked his way up. He served a lot of different roles to get to a head coaching position. He's a head coach at 2 different places. He's done a lot of things, both in college football and pro football, before going back to this opportunity. And look, this would be a really interesting experiment. The grind in coaching is real, and it's nonstop, and it's every day. And recruiting, as much as the visits to the home are one aspect of it, it's identifying the players, the right players. It's taking their call night or day when they call. It's such a different situation than anything he's experienced before. You are right. He would need a unbelievable support staff to make that work in any capacity.
I feel like I'm the most qualified to speak on this Prime situation. I spent a lot of time with Prime. A lot of years we did the Under Armour All-American game. The amount of winning that he is able to do right now at Texas Trinity High School, where he's at right now, although different in terms of level and the amount of money, because I know people brought up the fact that you know, his prime prep failed. The amount of money and the amount of support that he would receive at FSU would be unparalleled. Unparalleled. Some of the most important aspects of being a college coach is being able to build a staff. He can check that box off. As you mentioned, recruiting, he can check that box off. In fact, not only can he check the box off to be able to recruit, but he knows most of these high-profile players by name because of what has taken place with him establishing the camps that he's been doing for years. His Prime 21 camp, he has had the most elite players for probably the last 10 years. So he knows all these kids by name. If you can get the type of talent, he gets them to his high school. If you could get the type of talent that Deion can bring and the type of funding that Deion can bring, and you can put together the staff that Deion can bring, you are now opening up Pandora's box to a lot of guys that have been in the coaching industry that have flown under the radar, like a Deion Sanders, and are quietly paying their dues and can really coach. I played with Deion. Deion is one of the best football minds that I have ever been around. People may think it was his athletic ability that made him special. No, it's his work ethic that made him special. The amount of detail that he paid attention to, knowing He was such a student of the game. So to put Deion Sanders in a place where he would be the mayor, he's already the mayor of Tallahassee anyway. So now you bring Deion in, I can guarantee you, close behind is a guy like P-Dub, Peter Warrick. Here he comes, getting receivers. One of the greatest college football players that I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. He would give people hell on the recruiting tour. He would be perfect for the position.
Here's what I'm a huge Deion Sanders fan.
Here it comes.
Yeah, here it comes. It's just, man, being a head coach is one of the most boring jobs in the world.
Yeah, never lied.
And success is just so boring. In these high-pressure leadership positions, it's really boring. Deion likes excitement. Deion likes being on TV. Deion likes being a celebrity. And if you go look at the coaches that work, Nick Saban is a very boring person. Bill Belichick, a very boring person. The routine of day after day, coming in and doing the exact same thing. And what a coach does, mostly, is repeat the same message in a different fashion every day. He's only really got 1 or 2 messages, and he just keeps coming up with a new way to say the same thing over and over and over again and do the same thing over and over again. It's a boring job. Deion doesn't fit the personality of a head coach.
Everybody have to be boring?
Well, and it doesn't, because
that's what I'm saying. Why is it
there's 100 years of experience?
James Franklin makes coaching fun. Herm Edwards, he makes head coaching fun. That's why the kids are gravitating to those programs.
You can make it fun, and still your personality is boring. Again,
that's true. That is true.
There's just a routine of monotony to being a head coach or being successful, period. And everybody thinks fun is the ingredient that drives the whole thing. If you can just make it fun.
You know what's fun?
Consistency.
Well, he didn't highlight fun. He highlighted electricity, the juice he would give that program.
I don't think electricity does.
Let me tell you something. It becomes his kingdom, and that's what's going to be exciting for Deion. Now, here's where it could brutally go wrong, is if he isn't successful, and he isn't successful for an extended amount of time. Then you find out that being Deion and being Prime may have been better on the field than it was being a coach at FSU.
They only gave the last head coach, what, a year and a little bit?
Yeah.
So the turnaround's going to have to come very quickly if that's the timeline that they've set for success. And look, Nick Saban's not fun, but Nick Saban wins, and he wins on a consistent basis. And the grind of it, to me, is where there could be some issue, because it doesn't stop. And college football is very different than pro football, because you've got a lot of different bosses. You've got a lot of different areas that you constantly hit. It's fundraising, it's speaking engagements, it's recruiting, it's football, it's all those things. And you've got 110 kids that you've got to manage.
I'm just telling you, the best coaches, and a lot of times the best leaders, they don't go from celebrity and then transition into leadership. The celebrity actually is a burden for leadership. Now, has Nick Saban become a celebrity? Yes. But he worked his way up and did all the monotonous stuff that it takes to be a coach, and then his success as a coach made him a celebrity. Deion, I'm not knocking him at all. He loves the attention. He loves being Deion. He loves a lot of things.
That came from the work that Deion put in to get in that position. No question about it. So he could put in the work here.
But I think we're underestimating how much preparation and how much time he has been putting in. I mean, he is connected to so many, and I don't want to go too deep because I don't even want to expose him in terms of anything that could be misinterpreted in terms of people he knows. But the kids, he knows the kids. The coaches, he knows the coaches. And if you can fundraise, which he would be able to fundraise, if he's going to have the support.
Money don't fix problems.
No, but kids, but talent and development.
Development. So, it's all about development.
He would be able to bring in those type of coaches.
Development is very boring. It's them 6 a.m. weightlifting deals that you.
He ain't gonna be there at 6 a.m.
I'm about to say, my coach wasn't at no 6 a.m.
He ain't gonna be there. He's gonna put together.
You got to put the
coaches together.
I got it. Okay. If you could delegate it all away, trust me, Nick Saban would be here while coaching Alabama. Stay right where you are.
Well, he ain't gonna be on TV.
15 minutes, we'll have the most fearless discussion in sports, and I'll tell you what Antonio Brown's meltdown was really about. But first, Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott face off this weekend. We'll tell you which quarterback we'd rather have. Next! Speak for yourself is presented by Hyundai.